Hi students, coming to our next topic, that is time stamping method. So what is this time stamping method? Let us see. Actually, a time stamp is a unique identifier. A unique identifier created by database management system. Created by database management system that indicates relative starting time of transaction. Relative starting time of a transaction. So that you call it as a time stamping. A time stamping is a unique identifier which is created by database management that indicates relative starting time of a transaction. So whatever the transaction you are doing, so it notes the starting time of your transaction and it always stores the largest time stamp. Okay, so at what time the transaction will be completed. Okay, it is a tag that can be attached to any transaction or any data item which denotes a specific time. So this time stamping can be generated by using system clock. Okay, system clock, or else by logical counter. So here the time stamping can be generated by using system clock at the time transaction started. So whenever the transaction is started with the help of system clock, it notes the time at what time the transaction is started. So the time stamping method can be generated with the help of system clock or logical counters. So here the logical counter means it can incrementally logical counters every time a new transaction starts. Okay, every time, or else a logical counter is incremented after a new timestamp has been assigned. Okay, so a logical counter is there. It's always incremented by one after every new timestamp has been assigned to a transaction. So these are the two techniques. Means the time stamping method can be generated by using the system clock or by using the logical counters. Okay, so let us take that suppose T1 is the transaction. T1 is a transaction. So this is a timestamp. So at the starting T1 transaction, the timestamp is TS of 1. Timestamp of 1. Okay, so it continues. So at particular after the transaction T1, T2 is started. So what is the timestamp of T2? Timestamp TS of 2. Okay, so here you have to be noted timestamp of TS of 1 means a starting transaction should always be less than stamp of TS of 2 ending transaction. So this condition is very important. You have to be noted. So in the timestamp method, the timestamp of first transaction is always less than the timestamp of the next transaction or else the last transaction. Okay. So suppose an example, at the time T1 at 9 o'clock, T1 was started. So at 9:10, T2 has started. So timestamp of one transaction is 9. 9 is less than timestamp of 2 is 9:10. Okay. So always timestamp of 1 should be less than the next transaction or the last transaction. So this is the formula you have to be noted. Now coming to the timestamp values. Timestamp values. So what are these timestamp values? So there is two values were there, read timestamp and write timestamp. So that is our timestamp read timestamp of a data item. Suppose A is a data item or resource and W is the write timestamp. Of a data item. So these are the values, read and write timestamp values. Okay. So actually this read timestamp is the largest timestamp of any transaction that executed read successfully. So read data item A successfully. So the main point you have to be noted here is read timestamp means is the largest timestamp. You have to take the largest timestamp of any transaction that execute read successfully. So at what particular time the read will be successful. So you have to take that time. It's the largest time that will be denoted for read timestamp. And the write timestamp means it is also you have to take the largest timestamp of any transaction that executed write A successfully. So at one particular transaction write will be successful. So you have to note that time. So largest time on write which it is successful. So these are the two timestamp values, read and write timestamp value. So let us see one example that will that you get some clear idea about what is the read timestamp value and the write timestamp value. Okay, so let us take read timestamp. So the main point here is the largest value that read has successful, that time you have to be taken. Okay, so let us T1 is there, T2, T3, T4. 4 transactions are there. Those values 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, okay, so these are the timestamp values. So at T1, read 1A, write 1A. Okay, so at R3, read A, R2, A. Okay, and W4, A. So this is an example. Let us see here. So what is the read timestamp of A? So what will be the value we have to find out? So at the starting the timestamp will be started. Okay, so starting it should be 0. So next it checks. So at timestamp 1, read 1 A data item was read at T1 transaction. So update the value to update T1. So at the time the transaction should be it is 10. So 0 is less than 10. Okay, this is correct. Now next go to T3. So next read will be occur at T3. So update T3 is equal to 30. So that is 10. 10 is less than 30. Okay, this is also correct. Okay, means least transaction should be the starting transaction or else transaction should be less than next transaction. Now next transaction will be at T2. So let us see update at T2 it is 20. Okay, so 30 is less than 20. Is it correct? No. So this will be false. So the least transaction read will be, so after T4 at T4 it is write operation. So don't bother about T4. So the transaction will stops here, and now the RTS value read timestamp of A is 30. Okay. So now coming to the write timestamp. So let us see what is write timestamp. So I already said. So the largest value where the write timestamp is successful. So here at T3 it is successful. So that T3 the value of the timestamp is 30. So 30 is saved in the read timestamp. So at read the read is successful at the timestamp 30. Coming to write. So just take the same example. Write timestamp of A. So starting it is 0. Okay. Now update. Update of A. So at T1 the timestamp is 10. So 0 is less than 10. This transaction is okay. Now coming to the next update. So next where will be the write? Write will be at 40. Okay. Meanwhile this is all read. So write is at transaction 40. So update to T4. So T4 the transaction is 40. So 10 is less than 40. Right. Okay. So now the write transaction A is 40. Okay. So the largest transaction where the write operation is successful, that timestamp you have to be taken. So read timestamp is 30 and the write timestamp is 40. Okay. So these are the two different timestamp values. Thank you.